Please have your seats. The regular board meeting is now in session. Would we call the roll?
You're not, you're not talking into it.
All right. Ms. Coakley, would you call the roll?
Mr. Bro?
Here.
Mr. Green? Ms. Hanson? Ms. Rutherford? Ms. Fauntleroy? Mr. Harrell? Ms. Martin? Ms. Moore? Dr. Peterson? Ms. Baker? Ms. McCullum? Ms. Lamy? Ms. Hurstis? Mr. Kuzan? Ms. Rufino Gallagher?
Okay, Ms. Isabella Spears will lead us in the pledge, and Christopher Polito for the invocation. Which one's first?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God of peace, we invite you to preside over this meeting. Even if we have different opinions, give us unity of spirit and help us to each listen politely as others share their points of view. Help us to work as a unified team in combining ideas for a great outcome for our school community. May we have a spirit of camaraderie in this room and work together on our shared mission for the best interests of students, teachers, support staff, and administrators. In your name we pray, amen.
Do any of the board members have visitors that they would like to recognize tonight? Ms. Michelle Rufino Gallagher.
This is not for me, not that I don't appreciate this person, but Tammy Lamy would like me to say to Misty Hebler, the principal of Covington High School, she wishes she could be here tonight. She loves you, and thank you for coming, and congratulations. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad, sorry. You have a new job. Congratulations.
Ms. Moore?
So I'm putting it in. I wanted just to put a shout out. This was National School Lunch Week, and I was able to enjoy school lunch at Chataima this week. And I wanted to put a big shout out to Teresa Crawford and her staff, and also Lake Harbor staff for a wonderful presentation this week, and all the parents and grandparents and all that were in attendance. So thank you all, school lunch employees. We really appreciate everything you do.
Anyone else? Ms. Harrell? Mr. Harrell?
I appreciate that. Not wearing my stilettos tonight. I just want to give a shout out to the all the junior high football teams. They finished up their seasons, I guess, this week and maybe next week. And we have some games tonight. So, but a special thanks to Fontainebleau Junior High football, which my son's on. We've enjoyed going to the games this season. Congratulations, guys.
Anyone else? Seeing none. Mr. Javi, would you give us a superintendent's
Sure.
update?
Thank you all so much. We had a busy time. I've got quite a few things to cover. I'll try to make it as quick as possible. First off, College and Career Expo that's going on Tuesday and Wednesday. I just can't say enough for the amount of people that came out to experience that. I was blown away. I was blown away by the vendors. I was blown away by the participation. And I just want to thank a few people. They're not here with us tonight, but Melissa Strataberger and Stacy Alexius are rock stars. And they put together a program for students, for parents that, I mean, it's rivaled by anything in the state of Louisiana. The vendors are just blown away. They're like, make sure I'm on the list. So it's just amazing. But I also want to say, I thank Melinda Hobgood, Caroline Fontaine, all of our school to work coordinators, our career coaches, our communications department, C&I supervisors, the HR team, our high school counselors, our central office volunteers, and a big shout out to the Harbor Center, the Castine Center, and all of our vendors for all they did for us for the last 2 days. It was amazing. Let's check out a short video about our career and college fair.
I visited the Louisiana Lafayette booth, and I plan on going there.
I went to Southeastern, Southern, and UL.
My favorite booth was visiting Southeastern.
I went to the LSU table and I really loved it.
I stopped at LSU, Tulane, and the Naval Academy.
The Career and College Expo is an event that we're hosting over 2 nights on both the east and west side of St. Tammany Parish Public Schools. And it's really an event meant for students to look at all of the opportunities available to them after high school.
This event is really good because it helps 12th graders, any high schoolers to find great career plans if they're stuck. And it's a great place for you to communicate with others that know a lot about colleges and great career plans.
I see there's a lot of opportunities here, and I'm really interested in like a lot of different jobs. But I really want to be in healthcare.
I think it's a really good experience. It allows a lot of people to come in and not really knowing much, but walking out with a lot of more information.
It puts you further than a lot of people when you know what you want to do, where you want to go, how to get there, the information you need, contacts, stuff like that. It helps you get ahead of the game.
A lot of parents don't realize what we have available just right here in our own community. And if we don't expose them what those opportunities are, they're never going to know. And many times it even opens the doors for the parents, which can also give them the chance to go back and change their career or perhaps get upskilled in what they're currently doing.
I think this expo is very important for kids because it provides educational opportunities and job opportunities for everyone.
We have so many vendors here that just give our kids so many options, whether it's college, whether it's career, whatever it might be related to. There's just so many opportunities for them to get over here and just see what's available.
It's never too young to start. It just helps you get in early to really know what you want. Because I know some people, if they're in their 20s, they're still trying to figure out what they want. And I think it's really cool that I can be here now and know what I want.
Oh, thank y'all. Over 3,000 people participated in that expo over the last 2 days, and last night the weather was horrendous, and they were still piling in. So just kudos to everybody, just absolutely amazing. Next is our Go for the Gold Day. We want to make sure we let parents know and students know who are dealing with childhood cancer that we have their back. So let's check out a little video about Go Gold.
Ever since a student here who got sick, he's gonna get better, and we can't wait to see him again.
Class family means no one fights alone. You got this. We're here for you. We support you. Be courageous. We are here for you. We love you, Emerson. We support you. Be strong. You can do hard things. Be strong, courageous, and brave. We love you, Emerson.
I beat cancer, and you can too.
And again, we appreciate everybody that participated in that. We had a tremendous turnout, so thank everybody for doing that and supporting those families. It truly means a lot. Next, Abita Springs School celebrated 100 years. So let's check out the celebration at Abita Middle.
Well, today we were celebrating our school's 100th year. And, you know, this is a great community school. And it was just a great opportunity to share this event with so many community members and so many former students and teachers.
Abita Springs School has been around for 100 years, and it just goes to show you what it means when you have a school embedded in a community and everybody rallies around it. The kids rally around it, the parents do, and so it's just a great time. And just having the ability to come here and celebrate, what a great day.
Clap it high, clap it low. Warriors, celebrate 100 years, let's go.
And when you have a tight-knit community, and it's evidenced by a community school, you know, they take pride, and they also take and have a real heartfelt attachment to each and every student.
Abita Springs Middle School is a great place. It's great. I love going here, and I love that my 3 kids have been able to go here and experience this. And it's so proud. I'm so proud to be able to represent this area.
St. Tammany has done a wonderful job giving people that connection and that love for their schools. And I just am so proud and so thankful that I got to be a part of it. The memories that came back to me today when I walked on this campus, it just warms your heart. And the families and the people that were here today, Abita is a true gem and just a blessing for the people that get touched by the school and the educators here.
As you can see, it was an amazing turnout, great day. It was truly a great experience. So much pride in the town, just blows me away. Next off is our partnership with the fair. The fair is embedded in this community, and we have all 55 schools that participate with our fair booths. So let's check out the fair booth presentation for the fair.
This is the St. Tammany Parish Fair, and it's important that our public schools are represented. They have such amazing fine arts programs, and we're excited to be here and show that off.
We've got 55 booths, and every school in the parish comes and sets up a booth every year. And the school board is supporting that. They support it 100%. They make sure it's done. And I mean, it's just unreal what they do for our fair.
So the theme for this year's fair booths is We Are the Future. So our art teachers try to incorporate that into their booth.
One of the special things about our booth is that we're going to have the 3D glasses, and you can put them on, and then the geometric shapes behind you will pop out and be 3D.
We've been planning this for about a month now, working with the teachers and the kids, just kind of get different ideas from them and just work as a collaborative effort.
All the people I think that comes to the fair goes through the school booths, because most everybody that comes to the fair has a child somewhere or a grandchild in one of these schools, and they want to go see it. They want to see what they've done. So it really adds everything to our fair. I think it's one of the most important things we have.
Our school system is the fair, from the livestock animals to the rodeo, to attending the fair, to the booths. We are the fair, and we get to show off. So it's just wonderful to see our kids' work being presented there in front of everybody, and I appreciate everybody taking a part of it. This year, the fair was dedicated to 3 of our retired school board members, so let's check out a presentation for them.
Each year we select some person or some people to dedicate our fair to, and we always try to find somebody that supported our fair, been part of our fair. The 3 that we dedicated it to was Mike Derman, Beth Heinz, and Jack Loop. You know, it was not a hard decision when they all left us at one time to pick who we wanted to dedicate the fair to.
It's a fabulous honor to have the fair dedicated to 3 former school board members, and I'm one of those that's lucky to be chosen, and I'm very appreciative.
You know, Ms. Heinz has served 24 years, I served 20, and Jack 16, so collectively we had over 60 years of service to the school system.
45 years in the school system, and the last 16 on the school board. This has been a fun thing.
And the reason why we did it is for the kids in the community, and this fair embodies, you know, the greatness of our community and our children.
The community loves this, and it's something there that, like I say, get all the kids involved and so on. The more they like it and get together, the better off it's going to be.
we consider that the dedication of the fair is the highest award we can award to somebody that supported and has backed the fair and has helped the Fair Association. And nobody we could have chose any better than those three people. And I feel like that, and that's what we decided to do.
Just three amazing people, so just so glad that the fair was able to do so much for them because they've done so much for this community, so we really appreciate them. We just got a couple more, guys. There's so much going on. Next thing is Slidell High School's band room dedication. Mr. Johnny Johnston, band director for so many years, band director while I was a student there. So let's check out a presentation from Mr. Johnston. It's just an honor to recognize Johnny Johnston. He was just such a figure here at Slidell High School way before my time, and then myself as a student, and then we worked together also. But he loved music, he loved teaching music, and he loved the show. Well, it's so important that we remember our legacy, and almost 120 years of tradition and pride here at Slidell High School. The football stadium's named after Coach McGinty. Right here is Buckaron Drive, named after longtime Principal Joe Buckaron, and today we continue that tradition by naming the band room forever after Mr. Johnston and all his legacy and impact on this community.
He is responsible for writing the fight song that the school uses today, the alma mater that the school uses today, and overall has just had a tremendous impact on the school of Slidell High and the band here at Slidell High. And so we just want to honor him as much as we can.
Just seeing all of his hard work to this point, to where they're now naming the band room in his honor, it's very fitting, and it's a huge honor for myself and for my family.
It is our honor and privilege for the first time ever to present to you the John L. Johnston Band Room.
Just a wonderful turnout, and to have Mr. Buckaron, the principal that was the principal at Slidell High School for 30 years, to be able to attend was just amazing. Just Mr. Johnston meant so much to us, and he was just such a good man. I'm glad they're able to put a plaque up to recognize him forever there at Slidell High School. And our last video tonight is, and I talk about it all the time, is the pride that we have in our high schools. And look, I'm a Slidell High alum, worked at North Shore for 18 years. So much pride there, but there's no more pride than takes place at Covington High School and the Alumni Association and the group and the town and the community that support that high school and have always supported that high school. So let's check out homecoming night at Covington High School.
It's an honor to be an alum from Covington High School. Just the people I've met over the years and the traditions at Covington High and just the family atmosphere at Covington High makes it one of the most special places in St. Tammany Parish.
At Alumni Night, we had the dance team, the cheerleaders, the band. We had some football players come. We have other class reunions meet up on homecoming night. So it's just an accumulation of all of the participants from the past. Covington High is a huge family, and to be a part of that, to get that feeling when you come back for a game or an event, that feeling that you have deep inside of yourself never goes away.
I just want to say that I had such a great time seeing former students of mine as a teacher here, and also seeing so many alumni in the stands. I think the best tradition for Covington High School, and there are many, but the best is knowing that once you're a lion, you're always a lion, and that stays with you.
They were supposed to provide some video of Miss Hanson cheering, but for some reason that got cut out. No, but just tremendous night at Covington High, and I don't know if you want to say anything, Rosalind. It's just a great night.
You might want her to come out. No. As a matter of fact, thanks for showing that video, and I'm so glad my portion of anything that I wasn't on video, so it was cut.
Not yet.
And when I saw the video, thanks to Vance Lynch and his media class, they put that video together and they did a great job of it. And, you know, I previewed ahead of time to make sure that any portion of me was not shown. But having said that, it was a wonderful night. There were, it was a night where we had many alumni in the stand, dance team, band. That was the band, alumni band that was playing that night. And what made it really special for me is 2 of my daughters were on the dance team, and they were up there in the stands. And one of my daughters was cheering with me, and then my granddaughter's a junior and cheerleader there. So when they talk about the legacies of families at Covington High School, they mean it. And that's not just for the people that have been there for generations. It's for people who come to Covington. They come because you're part of that tradition, and you become part of that community. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bro, that wraps it up. Thank you very much.
So, Mr. Jabby, is that all that happened this past week?
No. I wish.
Okay, do any of the board members have any questions for the superintendent? Okay, we'll move on to Teacher of the Year. Again, you're on deck.
I know y'all tired of hearing me. I get to do the good stuff, which is great. That's a fitting change right now. So thank you, Mr. Bro and board members. Really appreciate the opportunity tonight to honor the District Teachers of the Year. Tonight, we want to start with Florida Avenues Elementary's Kelly McLean as our Elementary Teacher of the Year. I also want to remind the board that Kelly was also named a state semifinalist, so just a tremendous honor. Let's check out a video of Kelly.
A question, a telling, or a strong feeling? Telling. So this sentence. I am so proud of Miss McLean. She's an excellent teacher, and then to see her get this recognition for being such a great teacher just made me proud. I'm proud of Florida Avenue and her representing Florida Avenue. I was thrilled that I made it at the teacher level, shocked when I made District Teacher of the Year, and beyond words, quite honestly, to find out that I was a state semifinalist. I think she's very patient, she's very kind, very caring, has empathy for the students in her class. When the kids have that aha moment that you're like, oh, they finally got it. And that right there is all that it takes to get up and come to work every day, watching them grow.
She's a great teacher. She's such a good teacher because she has good hair. She's nice. She lets us do fun stuff. She's awesome. She's great. She does a lot of stuff for us. I like the way how Miss McLean teaches because she makes us do hard stuff, and I like hard stuff. She's nice, she's pretty, she teaches us a lot of stuff. I'm so happy that Miss McLean is the Teacher of the Year.
Kelly, would you join me up here, please? Just want to tell you thank you for all you do for our kids. Thank you for everything you do for every system. Thank you.
Good evening. I just want to take a moment to first thank the board for taking the time to acknowledge not only myself, but the other hardworking teachers and principals who are here tonight. I also want to thank my family, my administrators, my school family, my church family, and my friends who have supported me throughout the last 15 years of this career. It is an absolute honor to represent the teachers across this district, not only at the district level, but to be able to go on and represent our district at the state level. Everything that I do is to the benefit of my students. The heart of everything I do as an educator is to serve them. As I continue to grow and evolve as an educator, I also promise to continue to do my part in inspiring, encouraging, and motivating my students every day. Thank you again for this opportunity.
Kelly's principal, Ms. Burgoyne, and her family and her work family are all here, so thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Next up is our junior high middle school teacher of the year, and it's Mr. Brandon Duplantis. Unfortunately, Brandon's not able to be here. He had a family obligation tonight that he was unable to get out of, but let's check out a video of Brandon.
Today, we're going to be working on our posters for where we modernize the Bill of Rights.
Mr. Duplantis is a really good teacher because for me, he explains it in a way that I can understand better because he makes a lot of connections with things kids our age will understand.
I think Mr. Duplantis is a very fun teacher and understanding. Like all the time he explains his work, he have fun with it and ways that our generation could understand.
So what are we thinking? One of the things my students always tell me is that they love how I tie in their lives to my classes. They actually try to invest yourself into their lives a little bit. It'll make your life a lot easier when it comes to teaching them.
He wants to help us meet our goals and our full potential. So he's a really good person for that.
Well, these kids got to sit in classes for 7 hours a day, you know? What can I do to at least make it interesting for them? I want you to work as a team. It was a real honor when I was selected because I don't always throw myself out there as, around the school and whatnot. I do my own thing all the time and everyone trusts me to know what I'm doing, and I just sort of have my own environment in a way, and it was just kind of nice to be recognized for that.
I'm very proud of him because he's a really good teacher, so I think he deserves it.
All right.
Congratulations to Brandon and Clearwood Junior High School. If Ms. Tina Woods, the principal, is going to accept this in his honor, she's going to do a function at school for him and honor him in front of the entire school. So we want to thank them for doing that. Thank you. Next up is our high school teacher of the year from Lakeshore High School, Ms. Megan Tragle. Megan is a proud St. Tanya Parish graduate. Let's check out a video of Megan.
Good morning, friends. Good morning, Ms. Tragle.
Ms. Tragle as a teacher is truly one of the best teachers I've ever had. She just pushes her students so much and just wants them to succeed, and she does it in such a loving way.
Ms. Tragle is very diligent and gregarious in her work. I mean, she's an all-around well-rounded teacher.
It's interesting to see how she pushes her students in the math class the same way she pushes her athletes in cheer, in softball.
So I've worked with many different educators at the high school level, and I know how amazing a lot of those teachers are. And so to be able to represent all high school teachers in this capacity is a true honor, and I'm very blessed to serve in this role. What I love most about teaching is the interaction with students. I love coming to work and it being a new experience every day, but I love the impact that I have on high school students and seeing how what I do in the classroom affects them both inside the classroom and outside the classroom. What they do beyond high school is something that I also am excited to see.
She's always there if you need her, every step of the way. She's right there just wanting to guide you and help you. Everyone needs a teacher like her.
Megan, if you'd come forward, please, I would appreciate it.
Good evening, members of the board, Mr. Jabbia, assistant superintendents, and supervisors. Thank you for blessing me with the honor of St. Tammany Parish Teacher of the Year. As a student myself, I attended St. Tammany Parish schools, and as a graduate of the North Shore High School District, I have been inspired by so many amazing educators and administrators. During my career as a teacher in St. Tammany, I've worked at 3 secondary schools. I have taught alongside some of the most incredible teachers. I am honored to accept this award on behalf of all of the outstanding high school teachers in St. Tammany Parish. First, I want to thank my amazing administrators and instructional coaches for their constant support and guidance. Thank you to my family for the many sacrifices you have made over the years. Anyone here tonight will tell you that I spend more time on the campus of Lakeshore than I do at home with my own family. To my Lakeshore family, thank you for being the best friends and coworkers. Thank you for your support, encouragement, and for always having my back. Most importantly, I want to thank the hundreds of students and athletes I've been blessed to teach and coach for always believing in me and trusting my processes. I am so thankful to work at the best high school in St. Tammany Parish. Thank you all again for this honor.
Her principal, April Gerald, and school friends and family are all here, so thank you all for being here. Really appreciate y'all being here. On behalf of the District Teachers of the Year, they represent over 3,000 teachers that work across this district. We are truly blessed. We have amazing people. They are doing so much to affect the future and to educate the students and get them ready for what life lies ahead of them. So I just want to thank all the teachers, District Teachers of the Year, all of our representatives from all of our schools, and every teacher that works so hard every day. Thank y'all so much for all that you do. Board members, if y'all have anything about the teachers, after that I'll move on to the principals. Okay, I'll move on to the district principals of the year. Mr. Bro, board members, thank y'all for having me. They are the instructional leaders of our school, and what they do for our kids and what they do for our campus and mentoring our teachers and all of our staff is just absolutely amazing. So tonight we want to recognize the elementary, the middle school, junior high, and the high school principals of the year. We're going to start off at Covington Elementary. Miss Misty Hebler is the elementary principal of the year. Let's check out a video of Misty.
Miss Hebler is the epitome of a leader. She is so dedicated to our students, dedicated to Covington Elementary, and we're just so excited that she is this year's Principal of the Year.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. How are you doing? My assistant principal and I have really worked very well as a team, and we've gathered our whole staff together to get behind what we believe in, to really do what's best for everybody on our faculty and staff.
And that's what keeps us together, because we're all working together for the common good of our students.
Miss Hebler makes Covington Elementary a great place to learn.
Like, we are everything for these kids, and so that's what Covington Elementary is. We're here not for ourselves, but to make a difference in all these kids' lives.
Miss Hebler is a great principal because she helps us and takes care of us.
It was not a surprise that she was chosen, because every year she could be the Principal of the Year.
And so it means a lot to this school to be recognized, because it's not just about me, it's about what we're doing together as a whole school.
Covington Elementary is the best school in the whole entire world.
Ms. Hebler, if you'll come up for me, please.
Thank you to everybody who nominated and voted me for this great honor. I wouldn't be here today without the love and support of my family, friends, and my school family. To my parents, thank you so much for always instilling the importance of education. You encouraged me to go to college and get a degree, and then to go back to college to get a special ed degree, and then to go back to college again to get my master's degree. And if it was up to my mom, I'd still be in school getting my doctorate. Sorry, Mom, that is not going to happen. To my husband, thank you so much for all the love and support over the years. You've been my #1 cheerleader through everything that we have been through, and so I love you so much. But this is not about me. Like I said on the video, this is about Covington Elementary. So to my school family, thank you so much for everything that you do every day. It's always about the kids. What we do is not easy, but it is important, and you are truly making a difference. So I appreciate everything that you do. You've always supported me, and you always make me feel good about myself. Thank you.
As you can see, her Covington family is here, and her actual family is here. So thank you all for coming out. We really appreciate it. Next, from Lake Harbor Middle School. I couldn't even get it out. I knew that was coming. So our junior high middle school principal of the year is Ms. Nicole Balser. Let's check out a video of Nicole.
I never thought that this would happen. It's cool that my principal got the Principal of the Year.
We are so excited here at Lake Harbor to honor Miss Balser as Principal of the Year. We know she's amazing, so we are so excited that everyone else gets to realize how amazing she is.
It's a nice thing to be recognized for all the work that you do, but you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with too, so it has to do with all the people that work here with me.
She supports our faculty, our staff, and our students all the time. I retired in 2021, and every Friday I come here to volunteer because of her.
Good morning, guys!
Good morning, Miss Balser!
I love that she knows every student when they walk in. She knows them personally, she knows what's going on in their life, she checks in with them, and she does the same thing for us here on our staff. She really knows people, and she makes that connection.
Miss Balser is the best principal ever.
I'm proud that the teachers want to be here. I'm proud that the students like to come here. It's a big school, but it feels small, and that matters a lot. Everybody feels safe and valued, and that's super important. That's even more important in scores.
Nicole, would you join me up here, please?
It's truly an honor to be named Principal of the Year, especially in St. Tammany, where there are so many amazing principals, leaders, teachers, educators. And I want to thank the board for recognizing me, and I want to thank my supervisors and all the admin for the support that they've provided, my family, who's always supportive, my AP over there, who's my ride or die, and the people who make me look good, the teachers, the staff, and the students of Lake Harbor. God has blessed me with the very best. Thank you.
As you can see, her school family and family are here. Thank y'all so much for being here. Ms. Martin, you wanted to say a word?
I do. I've been asked to just say a few words about Ms. Balser. I have had the privilege to work for some outstanding principals throughout my teaching career, but Nicole stands out above the others in many ways. I was very fortunate to work with her at Lake Harbor Middle School when she was the assistant principal and then became principal. I use the words with her because she is the type of principal that does not micromanage everything. She treats her faculty like the professionals they are. She helped many teachers on her staff grow as educators with her infectious love of education and concern for others. She invites all of her faculty to work with her to help the students succeed. Nicole utilizes her PD days to the fullest to analyze data and to guide her teachers to get the most out of their students. She is dedicated to developing a meaningful relationship with each person on Lake Harbor Middle School's campus. And then I also have, throughout my teaching career, I have heard administrators referred to as a student's principal, parent's principal, or teacher's principal. Until I met Nicole Balzer, I did not realize all of these descriptions could embody a single person. I have had the pleasure of working under Nicole for the past 13 years, and she has been a beacon at Lake Harbor since her first day. She is humble, hardworking, kind, and generous, and I feel so unbelievably fortunate to be able to work under her outstanding leadership. And these were from Kristen Amato, former fourth grade teacher at Lake Harbor, and Miss Adeline Rutherford, who is not here tonight. So.
And again, thank you all for coming out. Thanks for the Lake Harbor community that came out tonight. And lastly, in our high school division from North Shore High School, Mr. Bill Gallagher. It's been a lot of work to get Bill right, but he did it. Just joking, Bill. I had to get him. I told him I was going to get him. Let's check out a video of Bill.
Mr. Gallagher is a very friendly person. He is very compassionate and very involved. So he will be at every single event, whether it's an induction or a sports event, and he just makes everybody feel at home at North Shore.
The more that a student feels at home at a school, the better they perform. So I feel like he definitely understands that relationship, and he tries to form those meaningful relationships.
Well, we joke about, you know, feeling at home and making it feel like a family environment, but it's true. You know, I know a lot of people say it, but we really try to live it. We try to acknowledge, you know, the things that our people are doing here.
Mr. Gallagher is a spectacular principal, and he deserved more than anyone I know to receive the honor of Principal of the Year.
Mr. Gallagher is genuinely just a really good person, and I feel like that's why he got Principal of the Year. Everybody wants to be that. Everybody wants to be the best of the best, but Mr. Gallagher genuinely just is the best of the best, and that's why I feel like he definitely deserves to be Principal of the Year.
My family moved into this community years ago so that my kid could go to school here at North Shore. It mattered to me then for my own child, and it matters to me now for all of our kids. And you know, it is fulfilling to just be recognized, especially knowing we have incredible educators and principals in this parish. So to be named Principal of the Year for this year is a great honor.
Bill, if you come up for me. Yeah, come on.
Thank you, I appreciate it. You know, the first people that I really need to thank are my family. My wife is here. She's an educator in St. Tammany Parish as well. She was a teacher of the year at her school far before I was ever considered to be a principal of the year. I'm the second best educator in my own house every single day, so it's not a joke. My daughter Elena, who is a North Shore High grad and is less than a year away from being a doctor, so super proud of her. And my younger daughter, Addison, who is a student at Fontainebleau Junior High, and who we were all blessed to have Miss Balzer as her principal for 3 years when she was at Lake Harbor. She, you know, is kind of running the school for Mr. Askew right now. So also my in-laws are here. They are, as they refer to themselves, they're Addison's personal chauffeur, since Amy and I are always at our respective schools. They're a huge support for us to be able to do what we need to do. Every educator and administrator that I've worked with in this parish, I've certainly learned a lot from. The the principals and assistant principals of the year that work at my school are really what makes things so easy for me to do my job. I've got an incredible administrative staff. I've got incredible faculty and staff. You saw the kids that are at North Shore, a couple of them on that video, incredible students that are at North Shore High. They are what we get up every day for. One of the administrators in particular is Mr. Jabbia. He's worked pretty hard, he said, at getting me right. He was principal of the year a couple of times, and I was the one behind the scenes making him look good. So. And look, there's a lot of things that I learned from Mr. Jabbia. Some of them I can talk about up here, some of them I can't. But two of the biggest things, one is that I'm extremely emotional like he is, and the biggest thing that I learned from him is that you're not wrong when you're letting your emotions show with your kids and on your campus and being proud of who you are. And the other thing, we've never really talked about this, but I can tell you, Mr. Jabbia, as the product of two lifelong educators as his parents, it's the same thing for me. I'm the product of two lifelong educators, and I wish one of the ladies would have cried first. So I just want to thank my parents, because I literally would not be here if it were not for them. And the reason that I get upset, I know you said for them to stand up. My dad had a 5-hour surgery yesterday, so he's not here. My mom's with him in the hospital. He's still in the hospital. He's fine, but he's still there. So I know they're watching on YouTube right now. So Mom, Dad, love you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And again, thanks so much for Bill's family and school family and everyone that came. Thank you guys for being here. Really appreciate it. Ms. Gallagher?
I just want to say, when I was deployed to with the Coast Guard, Mr. Jabbia was the principal, and I'd heard nothing but amazing things about him. And then while I was still deployed, I found out in January of that same year that Mr. Jabbia was no longer going to be the principal, and I was like, oh my God, what is my kid going to do her freshman year and a whole new thing? And I could not have asked for a better person to take over that school. The kids love Mr. Gallagher. Many people think that he is related to my daughter, and she uses that to her advantage. And now I have two of them that go there. So, Mr. Gallagher, I couldn't be more proud of you, and congratulations on your prestigious honor.
Again, and these three principals represent 55 schools, 55 amazing campuses with great people all throughout, whether they be administration, faculty, staff. We are truly blessed in St. Tammany. So, board members, thank you so much for letting us share tonight. Thank you.
Certainly.
I just want to personally congratulate Ms. Hebler, Principal of the Year, Elementary Principal of the Year for Covington Elementary. Personally saying thank you as a grandparent for taking care of my babies that went there and are still there. And on behalf of all the grandparents and parents, thank you for helping them grow at the best school in the whole wide world.
All right, Ms. Balser, thank you for taking care of all of my grandchildren. She has been awesome, and they love you, and they love the school. Thank you.
All right, thank you. If there are no other comments from the board members, we will move on to the next item on the agenda, Red Ribbon Week, October 23rd through 31st. Ms. Hart?
Thank you, Mr. Bro. This year's theme for Red Ribbon Week, October 23rd through 31st, 2023, reads, Be kind to your mind, live drug-free. Since its beginning in 1985, Red Ribbon Week has touched the lives of millions of people around the world. Red Ribbon Week began in response to the 1985 murder of DEA Special Agent Enrique Kiki Camarena. In honor of Agent Camarena's memory in his battle against illegal drugs, friends and neighbors began to wear red badges. Red ribbon was adopted as a symbol of Camarena's memory. Today, the Red Ribbon serves as a catalyst to mobilize communities to educate youth and encourage participation in drug prevention activities. In St. Tammany alone, Action Youth and Community Resources distributes over 30,000 Red Ribbon wristbands to students and adults in our community. The Action Troop creatively also helps spread this important message. Our goal is to reach as many youth and their families as possible with that message. I want to thank Mr. Jeff Polito, Action's Executive Administrator, and their staff for their work and dedication to the students of St. Tammany Parish. Before Ms. Hanson reads the resolution, I would like to ask that Mr. Polito come to the podium to say a few words and then have his troop recognized. Mr. Polito.
Thank you guys for having us out here today. As she mentioned, we have a lot of our leadership team here with us tonight. Action has gone by a couple of different names over the years, but as a nonprofit, that just kind of happens. But I will say that for 41 years, we've had the privilege of serving the children and families of this community, teaching kids how to be their best selves, how to walk with confidence, and how to say no to drugs and underage drinking. So we're really proud of that opportunity. At Fontainebleau High, where I teach, we have a phrase we use a lot, optimus optimorum, best of the best. And that's what we got sitting right here. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. We have about 70-something kids in the program this year. And they usually come to us around middle school, junior high. They come to our summer camps in the summer. They learn about how to lead and how to serve. And then by the time they get to this level as high school kids, they're doing it in a way that I think you'd be really proud if you knew the kind of work that they put into serving the community and serving the students of St. Tammany Parish. So we're really proud of them, and thank you guys for having us. Thanks, Mr. Javia and Ms. Hart, for always guiding us through. Hey, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Whereas the St. Tammany Parish School Board values the health and safety of all students, families, and citizens of the parish, and whereas the National Red Ribbon Campaign will be celebrated in every community in America with students, teachers, faculty, and staff committing to healthy, drug-free lifestyles, and whereas the mission of Action Youth and Community Resources is to assist in the healthy, drug-free development of youth and families by providing leadership training, family life skills, education, and prevention programs, and whereas the school board acknowledges the contributions made by the members of Action and expresses its gratitude for this organization's long-standing support of students and schools. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this board does hereby proclaim the week of October 23rd to the 31st, 2023, to be Red Ribbon Week in all public schools in St. Tammany Parish, with the theme of Be Kind to Your Mind, Live Drug-Free. Furthermore, be it resolved that this resolution be spread upon the official minutes of this board, and a copy of this resolution to be sent to Action and posted at each St. Tammany Parish Public School as an indication of the board's declaration of Red Ribbon Week and its acknowledgement of the valuable contributions made by Action. And I so move.
Unanimous second? Agreed? Okay, are there any comments from the public? Seeing none, any comments from the board? Then we'll take a vote, or we pass this unanimously. Unanimous second. Oh, would the students that are representing Action please stand and be recognized? Thank you. Next, we have School Bus Owners and Operators and Bus Attendants Appreciation Week, October 16th through 20th. Mr. Alfonso.
Thank you, President Bro, Superintendent Jabby, and Board. It's my privilege to read an introduction to the resolution for appreciation to our bus drivers and bus attendants for their excellence and professionalism. I also want to thank Transportation Director Matt Burmaster, and the Transportation Department staff for their hard work and dedication to our school district. In society, there's a long list of unsung heroes who've gone unnoticed on a day-to-day basis. The establishment of Bus Safety and Appreciation Week from October 16th through 20th, 2023, recognizes those individuals who ensure the safe transportation of thousands of children to and from school each day. Transportation employees have an incredible difficult task. This significant week will promote school bus safety awareness and education, including the practicing of evacuation exercises. Schools will design and implement activities to enhance student understanding and convey appreciation to transportation employees who service their schools. Please help us to celebrate by honoring our transportation employees with a simple expression of thanks and appreciation. It's my honor to ask and recognize Ms. Amanda Martin, who will read our transportation resolution tonight.
I have 5 little people who get on and off 5 of our buses every day, so I'm happy to read this. Whereas school buses cover more than 29,000 miles daily in St. Tammany Parish, transporting public and non-public students, and have an excellent safety record. And whereas the positions of school bus owner-operator and school bus attendant require tremendous responsibility, as they are required to safely operate in traffic, maintain order on the bus, and in the event of an emergency, are looked upon for leadership and guidance. And whereas the St. Tammany Parish School Board is dedicated to the safety of our students and drivers on school buses, and whereas primary factors for the excellent safety record of St. Tammany Parish buses can be attributed to dedicated school bus operators and attendants who spend considerable time and energy in ongoing training to maintain skills and keep current knowledge of laws and safety procedures, as well as careful bus maintenance and thorough inspections. And whereas school bus owners, operators, and attendants are a critical part of the public education system by making our schools accessible to all students, throughout St. Tammany Parish. Now therefore, be it resolved that the members of the St. Tammany Parish School Board hereby acknowledge and applaud the everyday efforts of all school bus owners, operators, and school bus attendants in the school system, and proclaim the week of October 16th through the 20th, 2023, as St. Tammany Parish School Bus Safety and School Bus Owner Operator and School Bus Attendant Appreciation Week. Be it further resolved that this resolution be spread upon the official minutes of the school board, with a copy being sent to Mr. Matthew Burmester, Director of Transportation, and to all schools within the school system, to post as a sign of appreciation to all school bus owners, operators, and school bus attendants. And I so move.
Unanimous second. Any comments from the public? Mr. Osborne.
Brian Osborne, President of the St. Tammany Federation of Teachers and School Employees. Good evening, board members, administration. These recognitions are very important. It's very important for people to be seen, and you know how I feel about these folks. Transportation has a lot of moving parts, literally and figuratively, and this group does an amazing job. When you look to East Baton Rouge Parish, their transportation department is falling apart. They're missing 250 drivers, which is why we always push for better working conditions. But in addition to being seen, we feel that employees deserve to be heard, and they deserve policies that support them, not discard them. All of these folks are one survivable accident away from being kicked to the curb under the current proposed policies that you're going to look at tonight. So please consider that. They deserve better. Thank you.
Ms. Hanson?
I just want to say thank you to all our bus drivers. My father-in-law, who will be deceased as of November, 5 years, but he worked for St. Tammany Parish as a bus driver for 25 plus years. And he loved those students who rode his bus. And he took care of them as in the same way he did his grandchildren. So thank you to all the bus drivers who give of your time and your heart and take care of our kids. Thanks.
Okay, with the unanimous second, that motion passes unanimously. Oh,
I just want to see if we have any drivers present here tonight. Have them stand and be recognized, please.
thank you. Before we go on to the business portion of the meeting, I will invite anyone who wants to go out and celebrate the awards or the red ribbon or the teacher, bus driver appreciation. You may leave or you may stay, whichever ones you'd like to do. And while you're leaving, we will take a 5-minute recess. We'll move on to the consent agenda items and discussion. Are there any board members who would like to remove something from the consent agenda? Mr. Harrell.
Thank you, President Bro. Yes, I would like to remove policy GBN off. I know Mr. Alfonso contacted us earlier in the week and wanted to change some wording. So I thought, if we don't change it, let's just do it here.
Okay, that's a valid reason. I will now do a reading of the consent agenda items, minus that one. Approval of minutes of regular meeting held September 14th, 2023. Approval of minutes of special meeting held September 27th, 2023. Recommends acceptance of Cypress Cove Elementary School additions as substantially complete, subject to architect's recommendations, submission of all regulatory requirements, and approval of Superintendent Javia. Recommends acceptance of Madisonville Elementary School driveway access from Galatas Road as substantially complete, subject to architect's recommendations, submission of all regulatory requirements, and approval of Superintendent Javia. Recommends acceptance of Brock Elementary parking lot improvements of Brock Elementary School and students with exceptionalities facility as substantially complete, subject to architect's recommendations, submission of all regulatory requirements, and approval of Superintendent Javia. Recommends acceptance of the low base bid and alternate number 1 submitted by JJH Construction Company, LLC, in the amount of $335,490 for the playground outdoor activity area equipment installed and associated improvements at Group 6 various schools. Recommends acceptance of a temporary waiver of interim policy DJEF, professional services for emergency air conditioning systems, repairs, and maintenance. Recommends acceptance of a new transportation job description. Recommends acceptance of the new board policy GBRIBA, family and medical leave. Recommends acceptance of a new board policy GBRIB, sick leave. Recommends acceptance of the new board policy GBRIC, maternity and adoptive leave. And that concludes it. Do we have a motion? Okay, and
Letter L, policy GBRIB, sick leave.
okay, and your reason? Any reason will do.
For discussion. Yeah,
More discussion, okay.
Thank you.
And that is item L? Okay. Do I have a motion? Ms. Moore, second. Ms. McCullough? Okay, are there any comments from the public? Rand Osborne.
Good evening again, Board. I was hoping all 4 HR policies would be removed from the consent agenda. I believe they all interact with one another, so perhaps the other 2 can be revisited. I do appreciate Mr. Harrell and Ms. Martin for pulling at least 2 of them off. In some way, they all touch the collective bargaining agreement, which does have to be negotiated, but I do at least appreciate y'all pulling 2 off for discussion. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments from the public? Mr. Leday.
Good evening, Board and Administration. I'd like to address one of these policies y'all were looking at, and I'd also like to say I'm glad to see them being taken off. They definitely need to be researched. I looked over a lot of the laws that were put into. A lot of them are discretionary at best. They are also meant for beginners or private entities, and the schools were added way later on the list in that law. The main law I want to talk about is one, the Family and Medical Leave Act on Part B. It talks about a case where a husband and wife both work for the system. If you read the Family and Medical Leave Act from the government, it states that both husband and wife are entitled to the full 12 weeks unless and only if they're using it for the exact same thing, not if they're using it for two different entities. Okay, if they're using it for two different entities, they both are allowed to 12 weeks. So it might be something you want to research before we end up in a lawsuit we can't get out of. Thank you.
Okay, are there any other items that we need to remove from the agenda? If not, please take a vote. What is it, 12? 12 yeas, 1 abstention. That motion passes. All right, we will, do you want, should we do that, or we go on to the next agenda and cover it later? It doesn't matter. We'll move on to item number GBN. Acceptance of the new board policy, GBN. Do I have a motion? Mr. Harrell. Is there a second? Ms. Hanson. What? Well, you need to make a motion now.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion. As I mentioned, Mr. Alfonso contacted us earlier in the week. He would like to change shall to may. So I'd like to make the motion if we can change that part of the. That was it. I'd like to make that change. Go ahead and make that change as he requested.
Do we have the specific wording? Can we bring that up?
It's item J.
I can't bring it up there.
Mr. Harrell, I don't mind reading
Read the
it.
paragraph.
Yeah, Mr.
I don't mind reading it.
Okay,
sir.
go ahead.
It says, under employees incapable of working, the superintendent on behalf of the school board, it currently states shall, we'd like to change that to may dismiss any employee who is incapable of performing the essential job function of his or her job with or without reasonable accommodation. This dismissal is non-disciplinary in nature.
And who's seconding it, Ms. Hanson? Okay, do we have any comments from the public? Stand up, state your name.
Hi, Rhonda George, school bus owner operator. It really, thank you guys for listening to me. It really upsets me that y'all gonna dismiss an employee. It depends on how y'all dismiss them, but there's employees that y'all dismissed that are hurt on the job. They got in an accident, they got hurt on the job. I don't know if y'all know it or not, but they were dismissed. I don't understand. If we're a bus driver, if I get in an accident and my doctor did not release me yet, does that mean y'all gonna dismiss me because my doctor didn't release me, so I still have a few more months or a few more weeks or a few more days that the doctor did not dismiss me, but y'all gonna let me go? I don't understand how you can dismiss an employee when y'all need to realize everything that y'all are accountable for. Y'all probably don't even know. There's about 5 drivers out here that got in an accident or got dismissed because they're still under doctor's care, and nobody even cared that they're still under doctor's care. I can't understand how y'all can dismiss an employee. Can anybody tell us that?
After she's done, we can ask.
You can comment it when the board members have time to speak.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Scott Bernier. I'm a resident of St. Tammany. I'd like to thank the school board for its time. My wife, Lori, was assaulted by a student while at work last October. As a result, she was on an approved workers' compensation leave She was pleading to get the medical care she needed and deserved so she could get healthy and resume working. In July, she was called in by Lori Newhouse, the Director of Personnel, and asked her to resign and gave her a slip to sign, which she declined to do. My wife didn't commit an offense. She wasn't guilty of being hurt. All she did was take care of the students she loved. Lori responded on July 13, 2023, in an email, making it clear she was not going to resign her position. Her intent was to get better and start working again. A few weeks later, Lori received a certified letter from the school system, and here's some of that letter. You are currently unable to perform the essential functions of your job and have been unable to do so since your last day worked October 4th, 2022. Your accrued sick days, as of this writing, equates to 18 days. Accordingly, with the use of these sick days, your employment with St. Tammany School Board will cease effective close of business day, September 21st. Lori's employment was ceased. This is another way of saying she was terminated because she was injured at the hands of a student and is currently medically unable to work through no fault of her own. The physical and emotional toll this has taken on Lori and my family has been tremendous. Because of the way she was treated, her self-esteem has been shattered. This has affected everyone in our family. Lori's left wondering how she goes from Outstanding School Support Employee of the Year in 2021 cast aside like a number. She's wondering why her, why she can't get back to work, get the medical care she needs, and take care of the things. I'll yield when I'm done. Finally, you have in a board packet of yours, a document that says Lori resigned from her position. She
Please
did
wrap it
not
up quickly,
resign.
please.
The document you were given contains false and misleading information. Thank you for your time and consideration in this matter. I hope you'll make the right decision for the community that you serve. Please review the administration is handling these situations as a matter of policy. Thank you.
Lee Barrios, retired teacher. I want to address just one part of the policy, although I have questions about several issues and have heard from quite a few employees. About halfway down the first page of this policy, under employees incapable of working, it says, the superintendent on behalf of the school board shall dismiss any employee who is incapable of performing the essential functions of his or her job with or without reasonable accommodation. This dismissal is non-disciplinary in nature. Although you remove shall and make it may and turn it to may, it doesn't seem to remedy the problem. The word shall absolutely leaves out, or may absolutely leaves out any consideration of viable options for the employee. Keep in mind that dismissal is not resignation or retirement if you're eligible for retirement. It means fired. How does this affect your benefits or other issues? Secondly, this leaves the decision up to the superintendent alone, no appeal or grievance. Thirdly, how do you interpret the phrase with or without reasonable accommodations? To my understanding, or presents an option left up to the superintendent. He can dismiss you whether you have or have not been offered reasonable accommodations. What constitutes reasonable accommodations in the superintendent's mind? What are the essential functions for your job classification or circumstance not outlined in this policy? Again, I ask that you table this policy for further discussion with the employees who will be subject to this policy and the Federation that should certainly be part of the discussion as a representative for all those employees. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Karen Araby. I have over 20 years invested in our school system. I am a para. I am currently working on light duty. Should I not be 100% in a 90-day period, will I be next to be terminated? The last school board meeting, what I understood, y'all stated that everyone that was on workman's comp had a due processing hearing. Never once was I given a phone call. I received a letter in the mail that I was going to be terminated or I could resign my position. In the 20 years that I've worked for St. Tammany, I've had 2 surgeries, 2 concussions, 1 broken finger, and many bruises. I had surgery April the 6th. I was still in the process of being healed. I'm still not healed. But here is a thought for everyone to consider. Students' aggression does not stop after 90 days. How many teachers and paras are going to be injured? If every at-risk teacher and para has to worry about being dismissed after 90 days, how effective can our schools be? The cycle will continue if the issue of student school violence is not addressed. Thank you.
Mr. Osborne.
Thank you again, Board. You're seeing some of the human faces that these policies have impacted. I have an extreme prejudice against these policies because we've seen them enacted since August, and none of these things are written down and none of them are board approved. So the Federation views these policies that are here tonight as trying to cover retroactively things that have been going on since August when a lot of these threatening letters were sent, which is why we scrambled, which is why we said, hey, you don't have a non-disciplinary policy for dismissal. We have the paper trail on that one. I want to point out that yes, our paras are, as the data shows, most prone to attacks. I never again want to hear administrators say, well, they knew what kind of kids they were working with. It's callous. It's callous and unacceptable. But let me talk about a friend of mine who's no longer in the system. She's an ISS para, was an ISS para, Slidell High School. She said I could share her name, but I'm not going to. This shows that even mundane injuries can lead to the destruction of a career. She worked 24 years in our system as an ISS para. She was walking between buildings, between class changes. A kid just bumps into her, not malicious, pure accident. She hits the concrete knee first. Workman's comp injury, but she fights through the pain. During COVID, when a lot of people were out, she stood on that knee, worked in classrooms as a sub, covering because ISS was closed down during that time period. Eventually, that knee got to the point where there had to be a complete knee replacement. In 2023, February, she had that surgery. She could not recover in time, so at the start of the school year, she was given that option to either get a note to come back to 100%, which was impossible, retire at year 24, so close to that 25-year mark, or you're going to lose your insurance. So felt like there was a gun to her head, or ceased, have your employment ceased. We cannot have these types of policies. But we do need a policy that balances the needs of the system in a humane and fair way. And I think that if the board would vote to table and then pull what I call the Heinz maneuver, Beth Heinz, you saw in the video, she once made a motion to send administration to the table with the Federation to negotiate. She did this over the calendar because, as you know, the calendar is protected by
Please wrap it
the
up,
board. Thank you.
I don't
Please state
understand.
your name.
I'm Jonathan Copel. This is some crazy news to me. I don't know if you guys have a legal team that works on stuff like this and y'all enjoy paying workman's compensation claims forever. And of course, the settlements that come from workers' comp injuries on the job. It doesn't make sense to fire people with or without reasonable accommodations. There's no way that's gonna stand up if you get sued by people. Y'all are gonna end up paying a lot of money. Unless you're a lawsuit magnet, and that's just what you guys are looking for, and y'all are okay with wasting tax money, that's fine. I think that's the wrong direction. Honestly, I would get a different legal team to go over this. I would, a very competent one to review this. And that's just my personal opinion on the matter. Hearing from these people, this is bizarre. This is absolutely bizarre. It's, I can't imagine having, well, I mean, I was fired at one point, but I can't imagine being in a system for 20 years and then wondering, oh, am I going to get fired because I got hurt on the job? That's just messed up. That's messed up.
These policies, as Barbara Sharp, bus driver, subject to a lot of abuse. These policies have been created without the inclusion of the Federation, who represents all of the employees here. And I respectfully request that this board table these motions, all of these, until the Federation is included in these negotiations.
Mr. LeBay?
All right. I have from a California lawyer, labor lawyer. This is his words.
It is a near certainty that at some point in your life, you're going to be disabled. If not from sickness or injury, then from old age. But just because you're disabled doesn't mean you have to lose your job. Under federal law, employers of at least 15 or more workers must provide reasonable accommodation to disabled employees. In California, the minimum is 5 employees. But either way, once you tell an employer that you have a disability and you want reasonable accommodation, the next step is a conversation with you about what your core job duties are and what help you need to keep doing those duties. And the employer must accommodate you unless the accommodation is impossible or presents an undue hardship. But here's the trick. Just because they say it's an undue hardship doesn't make it so. They're going to have to prove it. It is a near certainty that at some point in your life, you're going to be disabled. If not from sickness or...
Now, just so you heard him say, you have to prove it, okay? Just like you've heard up here many people say, you're setting yourself up. I hope y'all got plenty of money in reserve, because voting for things like this without properly looking at it, properly legally looking at it, making sure you know what laws you're talking about, making sure you know what laws you're going to violate, y'all are setting the school up to lose a lot of money with a lot of lawsuits and a lot of bad press. I don't think none of us want that. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sherry Gabriel. I'm a school bus driver for St. Tammany Parish School Board. I love my job, but from what I understand, the bus drivers today, if you are in an accident and it is not your fault, you are not ticketed, and you are out hurt, you can lose your job. I don't want to go to work every day. I love my job as far as taking care of my kids, my bus, and doing my job to the best of my ability. If I was to get hit by somebody at their fault, I don't feel that I should lose my job if I'm hurt. And that is what is happening here. I thank you, and I appreciate it, and I do love my job.
Hi, my name is Kathleen Canino. So under ADA, you have to give reasonable accommodations for somebody who has a disability or an illness. That's one thing I would look into. But the other thing is, if this many people are being injured by students, and I'm not blaming students, we can't blame students. We need to put things in place to prevent that, because that's happening far too often. Thank you.
Are there any other comments from the public? We'll now open it up to the board. Ms. Gallagher?
I wasn't here last week. Unfortunately, clearly I missed a lot. So I have a couple questions. So these policies that we, that are up for change, or this particular one, and I think there's one other one that they pulled off. Are these not things that the Federation and the CBA should have been involved with when we wrote or changed? Whoa, hold up, wait. I'm asking these people, that's what I'm asking. I don't know who has the answer to that. Should this have been a discussion?
I'll do my best to answer your
Okay.
question, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask the audience to give us the same respect that we gave them while answering. The CBA does protect, they have the just cause process, but throughout the CBA, it mentions disciplinary measures. If you put the pencil to the paper, the just cause process is simply due process. This process that's being debated right now, we provide due process. We are simply not going to employees and saying, hey, you're fired. I know to educate everyone, the superintendent would not allow HR to do that. We meet with employees, we work with employees, we have a process we do with employees, we have a return to work program. We go through a myriad of things before a decision's made and presented to the superintendent. Okay? The issue aligns here. We do have a collective bargaining. We do not violate the collective bargaining, but everybody has to keep in mind what Act 1 represents. The superintendent has ultimate authority to make those decisions. So with him making those decisions, he entrusts us to do the right thing, which we do, and we go to every employee who's impacted and provide them due process before any decision is made. And I stand by that statement.
Okay. So next part of that is that I've heard a lot of people talk about, like a lady used an example of, you're always my guinea pig, I'm sorry, that Miss McCurley hit their bus and it was Dr. McCurley's fault and it wasn't the bus driver's fault. So it's a workers' comp claim. Are the same timeframes or guidelines in place for that bus driver who was not at fault, that's injured and has to be out for an extended period of time, as opposed to, I'll throw myself in the bus, me, who I'm outside with my kids and I do something I get in a car accident, it's my fault, it's not on school time. Do we have the same time frames of when we have to go back to work?
No, everything's predicated by a doctor. Okay, so we go by what doctors recommend. But as far as the workers' comp portion of it, I'm gonna turn it over to Mr. Davis to explain how workers' comp's handled.
And I apologize, this was explained last week, I wasn't here.
That's good.
If I misinterpret your question, Ms. Gallagher, just let me know. But
Okay.
regardless, if there's a workplace injury, workers' comp and pay for workers' comp continues as long as that injury exists and the employee cannot work. It goes on for years and years. So that does not stop unless the employee gets to a point, and that is through physician certification. The physicians determine that. And then, and only then, does that pay stop once they reach a level of working capability, defined by physicians, not by the school board.
Okay, so I'm gonna use the gentleman, I don't know where he is, he's right back there with his wife. So if she was hurt by a student, thank you, and it was workers' comp, if she's not able to go back so we're saying that when a doctor says, Jane, well, I don't know if that's her name, Jane will never get better, she will never get past this, this is what her 100% is gonna be, at that point, which does not allow her to do her job fully, is that when workers' comp stops?
And I believe your question is if it's a permanent total disability in that case. That would be lifetime benefits, and our attorney, Mr. Harrison, can correct me if I'm wrong about any of my legal interpretations here, but in a situation where an employee was harmed on the job with a workplace injury and had a permanent total disability, pay would go on for the rest of their life through the workers' comp program. Yes.
Okay, so maybe.
Regardless of job status.
Right, so I guess I'm misunderstanding, because if he said his wife was hurt on the job, and this is just one case, I know, she was hurt on the job, but she got a letter in the mail saying she was getting terminated. How is that possible if she was on workers' comp? That's what I don't understand. That's what I'm just trying to understand. Anybody? I don't care who. I'm just curious.
But you have to treat that separately. Workers' comp is separate from their employment. He just, as Mr. Davis explained, those benefits will occur, the position's separate.
Yeah, regardless of employment status, the workers' comp claim continues until the employee recovers.
Okay, so we would, so let's say his wife, I'm sorry I'm using you, but his wife has money continuing to get paid to her workers' comp claim, but she now does not employ this position, now we can fill it with someone else. Is that what we're saying?
If she's no longer employed, yes, you can fill that position, but the pay through workers' comp continues as long as the disability continues.
Okay, so the same, if I, again, I'm the one who got in a car accident in my own car. I'm in the same situation as his wife. I still can't go back to work. I just don't get paid at all because I was however, after however long that the process is, 90 days, 180 days, whatever the case was, that's when my employment gets terminated. Is that correct?
The employment will be terminated if a doctor says they can return to work and they don't return. We'll end their employment. Okay?
Well, I totally would totally understand that.
Yes.
But I feel like, I don't mean to speak for you guys, but I feel like that is not what they're understanding. I feel like they're saying now maybe everybody's talked about a workers' comp claim. That's what I'm trying to, again, I apologize, I was not here, so I'm probably asking a lot of questions you already answered. But if I get an accident, I can't go back to work is there a time frame of, depending on the injuries, based on what a doctor says? So then, if my doctor says I'm out for 180 days, my employment will not be terminated until the doctor says I can go back to work and I chose not to go back.
And it says reasonable accommodations, a return to work program, a lot of things exist with that.
Okay, so, and I talked to a teacher friend of mine, and they stated that, let's just say it was this gentleman's workers' comp and they get terminated. Is it the school board policy that if a teacher gets terminated, that they are not allowed to work in the parish again?
That's incorrect. These cases
Okay.
that everyone's bringing up now, okay, through the process that we do, if that position, just think position, please, if that position, they termed from that position, if they get healthy enough to return to that position, they can reapply, or if they're healthy enough to apply for another job class, they're welcome to do that. But they got to be able to perform the essential job functions of that position.
Even if it's no fault of their own?
It doesn't, if it happens.
And I get it,
yes,
I see what you're saying, but I'm just trying to say it. I mean, saying it out loud makes me understand, like, I do see both sides, because you can't fill a position with another permanent employee if this person is still holding that position, and I understand that. But I just want to part of me wants to make sure that if someone they're not terminated, they're just taken off the books, pretty much, but then when they're ready to come back and a doctor releases them, they can come back in order to fill that position, because right now we're filling it with substitutes, I'm assuming.
No, ma'am. If we'll fill it with a permanent employee, but they're welcome to come back and reapply in any capacity they're healthy enough to do. And once again, ma'am,
I know, guys, if y'all would please give us the same courtesy we gave you. I know you don't agree with it, but they didn't agree with some of the stuff y'all said. I just would appreciate y'all letting him speak and letting us speak like we let you guys. I'm trying, okay?
Thank you.
Okay. So they are allowed to return back to work. I guess the thing is, for the fact that if I got hurt, and I'll just use if I get hit by a student, get hit over the head with a desk, and I can't go back, got a concussion, whatever, the fact that they would have to reapply the term just seems pretty bad that I'm having a hard time accepting that part.
They're welcome to return, but keep in mind, like, every case is treated on a case-by-case basis. There's different scenarios in every case.
Okay.
So please understand that we work with these employees until a decision is made. It's not, okay, you're hurt, you're out. That's not the case. We would never survive like that. The superintendent can't do that. We don't have the authority to do that. We have to provide everyone with due process and reasonable accommodation and everything that's involved, second medical opinion, voc rehab, everything like that, and get all the opinions together, and then a decision is made. It's not, okay, hey, you don't return Monday because your doctor's note, you're out. That's not the way it's being portrayed like that, but it's not.
Okay. That's all I have for right now.
Ms. Martin?
Okay. So there's a lot of fear, a lot of questions, a lot of emotions, and that all happens when there's confusion, right? And like Mr. Alfonso said, all of these cases they're looked at individually because no two cases are going to be the same. When we create policy, the goal is to protect both employees and employer, okay? So a couple of things that I do know. Most of our employees love their jobs. Most of our employees are not trying to cheat the system, okay? But we have to have policies in place for those few employees that are dishonest, okay? So another thing I know is that we have a major discipline problem with our students. and that's causing some of our employees to get hurt, okay? We're having a hard time filling classrooms and getting drivers to drive our buses. And all of those things need to get better. I can also tell you that administration up here, you guys might not always understand what they do or why they do the things that they're doing, but they try very hard to be fair. They really do. That can be seen with Ms. Prevost. She has tried very hard since we've become board members to be very transparent in our financial department. She has done an excellent job. And we've promised you as this new board to give you that transparency. And I think our HR department can do the same, all right? So I think it would be good if you guys could, it would be better if y'all could understand maybe the reason behind some of the wording in the policy and what it means. And you can ask your questions. Well, what if this happens? What if this happens? Nothing may change in these policies, but at least you can understand them. So that being said, I would like to table this policy and provide an opportunity for public input, maybe a public input session where everybody can come together, administration, the Federation, the public, ask all of their questions, truly understand. So it doesn't look like administration's out to get employees or employees don't trust administration, because all of that should not be the case. So I make a motion to table this for it to be revisited in February of the call meeting in February of 2024.
Do I have a second? Okay. We have a second. A motion and a second is not debatable, but I think I still have to ask comments from the public on tabling the motion only. But they have to comment. All right. If no? Okay. Well, then let's go ahead and motion and vote on the motion to table.
We'll check in. I got into an accident on May 5th, 2023. An ambulance.
Excuse me, the motion is to table the motion. Unless you're talking about whether or not to table the motion.
Oh.
It's not appropriate.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Any comments from the board? No, it's not debatable. Let's vote.
Is it to table only L and D?
Just this motion that changed, that the motion with the, that was made tonight, that changed shall to may, but is basically that policy only.
The employee dismissal.
The D.
Yes.
Just out of all of them.
GBN, policy dismissal. Employee dismissal. A.
We're voting. Mr. Kuzan. Okay. Anyone else? Ms. Hanson?
It's only A of all of that.
It's only GBN.
GBN policy. Dismissal for non-disciplinary means.
Nine yeas, 4 nays.
So the motion is tabled. So moving on. We will now move on to the item that was listed as LGBRIB, sick leave. So that everyone can see.
There it goes.
Okay. So I need a motion, certainly, Ms. Hanson.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that given what we've heard, I was on the fence on whether to table it or not because I'm not certain how the law is going to change between now and February. I think labor laws are not going to change. However, however, I want to listen. And so therefore, if we're having this outcry because of the dismissal, perhaps it's a matter of not understanding or comprehension of it. We may not be able to change anything because the law, federal law, supersedes policy. So, but if this will help people to better understand where our system, why we do the things we do, and why we have to create policy that not just works for the employee, but also works for the employer, because there are many employees that come to work for the school system that are having to carry the workload of those who are out. And I'm not pointing any fingers. I'm just saying that's the reality of it. So therefore, in order to, I would imagine we're going to have people also mention stuff about the sick leave. I make a motion that we table that and we discuss both of them collectively. Yes, February meeting. Huh?
There is no motion on the floor to table. So
I'm
unless I
making
have a
that
motion, unless I have a motion to accept it, we'll just move on,
Well, somebody else can make the motion to accept. I'll make the motion, file it to table.
or not.
Or not. You know the
If we
rules
do
better.
nothing, we just move on to the next item on the agenda.
There you go. I don't know.
Mr. Kuzan, please.
I'd like to ask, when does the discussions come up for collective bargaining? When does that come up?
Prior to June.
Yes, sir, Mr. Kuzan. The current CBA expires 2024, so the intention is in the spring that we can open it up. We can certainly address these things then, but my concern is these things are being done without policy, and that's what I'm worried about. I would like this one tabled, but I would also like some conversation. We have some issues that I would like y'all to know about. I did email the board, but there may be some others. So I just think dialogue's important, even if we end up tabling it, which I absolutely do recommend.
When you say 2024, like when? Like that's a whole year. Like when in 2024 does it expire? You say 2024, but when? June?
June 30th.
Thank you.
Yes, June 30th. Just typically, though, we'd tend to open in the spring. Ms. Prevost, I think like in February, there are some student counts. If that's kind of, we wait till that financial information is clearer before we actually consider sitting down to the table. This one will be different because we'll be talking more than just money, actually working conditions.
As an old board member, I know that in the past, a lot of the issues that come up, has been discussed during the time that that you do the bargaining session goes on. So, I just keep wondering why we have different issues that comes up all the time. So I just want to know when this all, the time frame, there is a time frame for this to be discussed, right?
Absolutely, Mr. Kuzan, and we do wish that we would get into that pattern of just waiting until that time, but kind of the cart keeps being put before the horse.
I understand
Yes,
that,
sir.
I understand that.
We'll now move on because there's no motion on the floor, so we're not discussing anything at this time. Moving on, the next agenda item is appropriate retirement resolutions for the following certificated personnel subsequent to September 14th.
Yeah, what happened to L?
No one made a motion to accept it, therefore we move on.
Yeah, no.
Who's working on it?
We cannot table a motion that's not on the floor.
I think they're trying to table it.
She corrected it. That motion didn't exist. She made the first.
Okay. We will, okay. If we skip, it's similar to the table in it. Okay. Mr. Alfonso.
Thank you, President Bro, Board, Superintendent Javier. Appropriate retirement resolutions of the following certificated personnel subsequent to the September 14, 2023 meeting. Angela M. Scott, Oya Junior High, 38.15 years, 37.15 years in St. Tammany Parish. Dorable H. Dangerfield, Central Office, 32.26 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Ann B. Brown, Folsom Elementary, 39.49 years, 36.15 years in St. Tammany Parish. Dawn M. Cason, Pearl River High, 12.05 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. And Sabrina D. Marsh, Salmon High, 30.12 years, 5.96 years in St. Tammany Parish.
Do I have a motion? Ms. Moore? I heard Dr. Peterson say it. All right, any comments from the public? Any comments from the board members?
I disagree with this.
Ms. Moore?
The policy for students is 3, it should be the same for teachers.
All right. I don't know the other ladies, but I do know Durable, and she will be greatly missed. She was a very big asset to our parish and our school system in many different capacities. And it was my pleasure to have her as a friend and a colleague. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Moore.
If there are no further comments, please vote. Next is the appropriate retirement resolutions for the following employees, support services personnel subsequent to September 14th, 2023.
Thanks again, Mr. Bro, Superintendent Javier, and Board. Appropriate retirement resolution on the following employee support services personnel subsequent to the September 14, 2023 meeting. Cynthia S. Ashkar, Abney Early Childhood Center, 5.72 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Darla D. Venable, Clearwood Junior High, 17.1 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Peter C. Falcon, Covington Warehouse, 28.1 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Monica R. Tisdale, Lyon Elementary, 22.61 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Nancy N. Howard, Mandeville High, 17.1 year, all in St. Tammany Parish. Diane M. Payne, Mandeville Middle, 22.92 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Lisa F. Blackwell, Transportation Center, 19.56 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Oscar C. Dantzler, Transportation Center, 18.74 years, 1.11 years in St. Tammany Parish. Michael G. Drody, Transportation Center, 9.81 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Gregory L. Galloway, Transportation Center, 16.23 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. James J. Kindler, Transportation Center, 6 years, all in St. Tammany Parish.
Do I have a motion? Mr. Green, Mr. Kuzan. All right, any comments from the public? Any comments from the board? Seeing none, please vote. And that passes unanimously.
Mr. Bro, I'm
Yes, ma'am.
sorry. Would you explain to me why we skipped that and
Okay.
we
Yes.
still aren't voting on it again?
Sure.
I'm sorry. I
Sure.
just needed explanation of that.
It was removed from the consent agenda, and we could have addressed it as part of our agenda. But since no one stood up and made a motion to accept it, there was no motion on the floor. Therefore, we could not table something that is not on the floor. By having no member bring it up, it just got discarded. Same thing as tabling it. It was the same thing as tabling it because no one made a motion to accept it.
I was sitting over here waving my piece of paper. I guess I had a.
I asked for a motion and there was
You
none.
kept looking over there.
All right, well, anyway, that's my explanation for why we didn't vote on it.
I guess whenever it's tabled, it comes back up, because the law's the law, so whatever.
Okay, Staff, you are now dismissed before we go into the 3-minute public comment period. For public comment, we have 26 people signed up. I remind the board that these are not on the agenda. You are not allowed to discuss this or talk, have back and forth or ask questions. It's by penalty of law, it would be against open meetings law if you were to try to engage with these people who are commenting. So try to keep it clean. This is a public broadcast. It's on the air, so please maintain decorum as the speakers are allowed to come up. Oh, also, please, we're going to strictly adhere to the 3-minute. When that buzzer goes off, please leave the podium.
Do you want the buzzer, or can I do it there?
I don't know if they can see it.
Yeah, they can.
Okay, so we'll have a timer up. When that 3 minutes is up, please leave the podium. All right, first up, are we ready, board members? Okay, first up, Jerry Creason. I'm gonna have to ask you to interpret those. Okay, wait. Okay, a reminder with all these speakers, if you've heard your point made, please don't feel like you have to speak for 3 minutes. Jamie Sigurd. I guess that's Sigurd. Segura, I'm sorry. Jamie Segura.
I'm going to waive my opportunity to speak, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Bro, I've asked a couple of times. There's no posters or signs allowed in the room, please.
I don't think there's a policy to that effect.
Mr.
but
Harrison,
I'm okay with
is there allowed?
I'm okay with it. It's been in here the whole meeting, so
Well, I've been asking for them not to be in here.
There's no policy. Okay, the case is Godwin. The citation is 408 Southern 2nd, 1214. It's the case that holds that you can have decorum in a school board meeting. It falls exactly in that realm, but if they're not offending you, you can also leave them. There's no policy on no signs. But you do have a compelling interest to have decorum in a school board meeting because it's a limited public forum. And I gave the citation for it, but it's your meeting. If it's not bothering you, I'm good.
You use the phrase, if you find it offensive, but isn't that phrase inherently...
Rachel Rhodes, please.
Good evening. I'm here to support our public school libraries. As a retired teacher, I have to say that I'm disappointed in the book banning movement that is sweeping across our nation. Each time a book is challenged in our parish, it costs taxpayers $400, and St. Tammany is leading in the numbers. This movement is targeting a specific group of people. It is both unconstitutional and unkind in a country where everyone should have a voice. I've been reading the books of concern, and there's nothing wrong with them. The people challenging them are not reading, but instead copying and pasting and giving wrong information. Some of the books have been on the shelves for years, even decades. Our kids need to learn critical thinking skills to think for themselves. We need to prepare kids for the future. We need to teach them to be well-rounded, kind, and non-discriminatory. Reading brings knowledge, and knowledge is power. Therefore, reading is power. The power to know and learn and understand, but also the power to dream. Stories about all kinds of people from different perspectives inspire us to reach high, empathize, change the world, and be more than we ever thought we could be. Every book allows us to dream a new dream. Please keep the books on the shelves. Thank you.
Roxanne Newman.
Good evening, Roxanne Newman, Mandeville. I'm a parent of 2 St. Tammany Parish School Board graduates, If you're not already aware of it, you're about to be bombarded with several people reading excerpts taken out of context from books which they wish to exclude from St. Tammany Parish public school libraries. They're being led by a minister from Arizona. He doesn't live here. He doesn't have children in our schools. He does not pay taxes here. He has no skin in this game, and he's only here to cause disruption. I've lived here for 18 years. I'm here to remind you that St. Tammany Parish schools are here to serve a diverse community. Ministers from Arizona do not have a monopoly on the moral pulse of this community. As a member of the North Shore Jewish congregation, I represent the synagogue on the Jewish Community Relations Council of the Jewish Federation of Greater New Orleans, also known as the JCRC. The JCRC opposes book banning and has passed a United Against Book Bans resolution. I've provided copies of the resolution and request that it be made part of the record. They're in a manila folder up there on the dais. We should be embracing our diversity and encouraging our children to read and to learn from everyone who makes up our community, not seeking to keep them ignorant and encourage intolerance. Keep all the books on the shelves in our schools. Thank you.
Lee Barrios.
Lee Barrios, retired teacher. I'm not up here to express my position on any specific piece of literature that some folks here tonight may consider objectionable, pornographic, obscene, or simply against their own moral or religious values. That would be my personal opinion. That would be my personal opinion and a position that I would apply personally to the selection of reading material or movies or internet access for myself or for my minor children if I still had any. But I do believe strongly in freedom of speech that the Constitution provides us, with which it provides us, as with all our constitutional freedoms, come with limitations. We've probably all heard the example, you can't scream fire in a crowded theater. When I was working on my degree in journalism, I learned some specific examples of when freedom of expression is applied, but is just too shocking or offensive to publish for the general audience. One that I'll never forget that was published in a well-known newspaper many years ago was the photograph of a man who attempted to climb over a tall iron security fence at the White House, slipped and fell, and was impaled by his neck. The newspaper received so much criticism for publishing that photo on the front page of the newspaper that the publisher acknowledged that it was not appropriate and apologized. It serves as an example now for journalism students in their future careers. I would implore anyone who speaks tonight not to repeat the same language or describe the same graphics that they may so strongly object to. That would not only be hypocritical before this audience of all ages and sensitivities, but would be entirely unnecessary when the alternative is to provide the school board members privately with printed copies of books, book titles, and examples of specific texts or graphics. There are certainly other venues where the audience might choose to attend and may choose to benefit from explicit language. I hope that no speaker tonight chooses to apply the shock and awe effect to make their point.
Manuel.
Good evening and happy LGBTQ History Month. I'm Mel Manuel. I was born and raised here in St. Tammany, Covington High's valedictorian from 2002. I was a public school teacher for 15 years. I'm the parent of a 7th grader at Madisonville Junior. I'm the first openly queer and trans congressional candidate in our state. I'm also the co-founder of a nonprofit called Queer North Shore, which aims to increase LGBTQ visibility and representation in Southeast Louisiana. Queer books represent a fraction of books in St. Tammany Parish libraries, school libraries, but account for over 3/4 of the titles the group here tonight objects to. That fact right there should give you a very clear idea of the real reason they're here tonight. This is part of an orchestrated effort to erase queer voices from our public spaces in our parish. I thought about coming here tonight and asking you to recognize my humanity and the humanity of the 13,000 LGBTQ kids who live in St. Tammany Parish. Yes, there are an estimated 13,000 queer children in our parish right now. There are 62,850 children in St. Tammany, and according to a Gallup poll from 2022, 20.8% of Gen Z identifies as LGBTQ. But frankly, I'm getting tired of begging for basic human dignity. I've spoken at libraries, board meetings, parish council meetings, RPEC, and now the school board. So instead, I'm just going to throw out a couple of facts for everyone. Fact number one, the percentage of Americans who identify as LGBTQ doubled in less than a decade from 2012 to 2021. There are now 24 million queer Americans. To put that in perspective, that's more than the population of every U.S. state except Texas and California. Fact number two, whether or not you're aware of it, 1 in 5 of you with minor children has a queer and/or trans kid. If you think it couldn't possibly be you, no, I was raised in a conservative Southern Baptist home without any queer books or TV shows or even LGBTQ identifying friends. Some of you have queer kids, and no amount of censorship is going to change that. Extremists can ban CRTs in our schools. They can take all the queer books from our libraries. They can groom our children to follow their extremist, hateful ideologies. But the reality is America is becoming less white and less straight over time, and it's been that way for decades. White supremacism and bigotry is going extinct. The movement nationwide to erase queer, Black, and brown voices from public spaces is the last desperate attempt of a dying breed. School board members, I will leave you with this question. Are St. Tammany Parish schools for all our children or only the straight white ones? Good evening, and thank you for your time.
Lisa Rustmeyer.
Hello, I'm Lisa Rustmeyer, and I live in Covington. I've had 2 graduates of the public schools in Louisiana, and I'm here to support school librarians. This is going to be a made-up problem because there's a list of 35 titles, and I don't know, there's 37,000 students in the school system. I don't know how many complaints you got on these books, but if they have a concern, I know parents have a monitoring system where they can see what their child checks out, and that's where the parents' rights come in. Discomfort over passages in a book or with a topic is not sufficient legal or reasonable grounds to remove material from libraries. Life is often uncomfortable. Many times it's a springboard for growth when you hit this uncomfortable patch. We can't have a rigorous growth education mindset and at the same time allow for some small, loud group to dictate reading material for all students, because that's just kind of nuts. In 1992, a parent of a 7th grade student enrolled in St. Tammany Parish Junior High filed a complaint about the book Voodoo and Hoodoo in the school library, and the school board voted to remove it 12-2. Parents of several students sued on the grounds that that removal of that book violated their children's First Amendment rights. The district court found in their favor. And I guess we've evolved because now we have a school board member that's also written a book about with a voodoo doll as the main character. So no need to ban or censor, we just move on. Also, we note in Georgia, as of several months ago, only parents of enrolled students can challenge materials in a school library. That makes sense. 86% of the books on the list feature the LGBTQ characters, so this is a direct attack on a certain group of students. It's mean and hateful, actually. And a June WWNO piece was entitled, Kids Will End Lies, Anti-Trans Legislation is Impacting Mental Health in the Gulf South, and it featured a St. Tammany teen. A psychologist explains in the article that if only one person is mean to you, you can get your friends to rally around you, and you can overcome that. When the whole community is against you and attacking you, the legislators in Baton Rouge, and the people in the public library and the school libraries trying to ban books, that's a problem. That really impacts you and is devastating emotionally. So if there are parental controls of the school libraries, and why would any student select a book over a device with the internet if they wanted material like this? I mean, it's just nuts. Thank you for your time. Please do not give ground to moralistic bullies trying to dictate narrow minority and often hateful viewpoints. Keep libraries strong and relevant. Thank you.
Hugh Cassidy. Hugh Cassidy. Karen Marino. Oh, I'm sorry. Kevin. Looks like an R.
Right, good evening. My name's Kevin Marino. I've been a resident of St. Tammany for over 30 years. I attended Mandeville Kindergarten, Woodlake Elementary, Mandeville Middle School, Fontainebleau Junior High, and high school. I've lived here my whole life. For the past year, I've watched a small group of people attack our public library. They have created intense havoc and wasted significant resources and time. They've challenged over 150 books and pulled them off the shelves from a couple of people, the same people that are here tonight. As you listen to these people, I ask you to remember that the vast majority of St. Tammany residents do not support removing books from any library, and we as Americans should stand up in support of students' First Amendment rights to receive information. Do not get baited by these zealots who make any changes to the school library system, and please make sure to keep these books accessible to students. I find it offensive and reprehensible that the Slidell Ministers Association invited and likely paid an out-of-state fanatic to try and interfere in our local school system, our public school system. I've listened to this man speak at other school board meetings and throughout the country, and all he preaches is hate and bigotry against the LGBTQIA+ community. He plans to read tonight, and others here as well, excerpts from books that are out of context to try to get likes on his YouTube channel and to get invited to Fox News. The common definition of obscenity and pornography requires one to review any work as a whole to determine if it has literary value. He is creating his own obscenity by reciting the dirty parts of these books without any context. There are countless books, movies, and other forms of art that depict sex that is not considered pornography or obscene when taken as a whole. The Slidell Ministers Association sent out a book list to its members to try to generate false outrage. All these books are focused on LGBTQIA+ topics. These radicals seem to think that anyone who identifies as queer is a sexual deviant and a child groomer. This type of rhetoric is disrespectful, and there's no place for it in St. Tammany Parish. They would like to see a world where only straight, cisgendered people exist. St. Tammany Parish has many queer folks. Residents and public school system students identify as LGBTQIA+. These students need representation in the school libraries, and these students need to be shown respect and be allowed to be their true selves. Thank you for allowing the school libraries to have these resources available to students, and please make sure these types of resources continue to be accessible. Thank you.
Joan Simon. Joan Simon.
Good evening. I'm a 40-year resident of St. Tammany Parish. Both my children are products of the public schools here. As public school representatives, it is your duty to represent all of us. Everything that's been said tonight, I concur with by the preceding speakers. I just have to say, this is about freedom. Our freedom to choose what we read, our freedom to choose for our children, and not to be indoctrinated by a culturally divisive issue that has basically become a political hotbed, a hot potato, to get us away from what's really important, educating our children. And you learn by being exposed to diverse points of view. If a parent has a problem, the parent can say, no, I don't want you to read this book. I've been very involved in the library issue here, and everything that's been said is so. And I will say, people will say this is a conservative community, whatever that means. But the fact of the matter is, most people really are opposed to book banning. And when you get into book banning, you're going down a very dangerous, slippery slope. It started in World War II. The Nazis, one of the first things they did was ban books and burn books. And a lot of these folks are saying today, we don't want to ban books, but they do. If you get a hold of the public records for the library issue, they certainly do. They want to defund the libraries. Protect our schools, protect our librarians. This is your duty. And thank you so much for hearing me out.
Scott Berner. We have a Scott Berner. Reception.
Hi, I'm Scott Bernier. I know there was a lot of questions before. I just wanted to clarify a few things. The term due process has been thrown out here a lot today. There's been no due process in my wife's situation. She was out on comp. Nobody sat down with her, said we need to get to this, or we need to get to that, or this is going to happen, that. Matter of fact, when we were called in HR, the union rep said, do you need anyone? Lori House said, no, this is not due process. You're not needed in here, when she asked her to resign. The other thing I want to let you know is there's assault pay when a teacher is hurt. That is extra pay. When she was fired, they terminated that assault pay too. They had paid her all the way up to that point. They stopped paying her. So she's not being compensated fully like she was before she was fired. And the final thing is, you're talking about doctors saying they could work or not. She had never gotten to the point where a doctor said, you will never come back to work. She had not been given her care because we had to fight Ryan Davies and Gulf Coast Risk Management to get any care. That's why this has gone on a year. She's finally scheduled for her first surgery after 1 year. So if you want the teachers in the seats, give them the care they need and get them back to work. Final thing, if any of you would like to talk to me about this, an intelligent one-on-one conversation, I'd be glad to talk with you and give you my side of it so you can help make an informed decision. These venues don't really allow for an informed decision. Thank you very much.
Brant Osborne. Brant, you're up.
Just wanted to express my gratitude for tonight. In my training as a negotiator, I'm taught to seek mutual goals with the system. The goal is balance, and a number of board members expressed that. You have to weigh out the needs of the employees, but also the needs of the system. The employees take care of the kids, but the system has to serve all. And I think that's what we're looking for, is best practices and all that kind of thing. I'm a lover of the First Amendment. I see public sector unions holding a special place. I view them as embodiments of the First Amendment, the right to assemble peaceably and to petition government. And you guys are a subdivision of government. So I really appreciate the respect and consideration shown tonight. Sometimes democracy's messy. Emotions run high sometimes, but I do believe tonight was a success, and I really wanted to thank you again for listening and responding to the assembled voices of your employees. Thank you for your leadership and your service. I know it's not easy to sit in those seats, though I never have occupied one of them, but I know the heavy weight of trying to learn so much so quickly. I'm look forward to continuing the dialogue, providing information and trying to find those solutions that will serve everybody. Thank you.
Karen Araby. Karen Araby? Oh, okay.
So I did speak about our injuries. I'm going to speak also, because I don't think Mr. Brian Davis understands what I'm going through. I donated a kidney 5 years ago. There's certain medicines I cannot have. I don't know if y'all realize, in the last 6 months, over $2,000 of my money has gone for my injuries from the students that hurt me. I have to pay for it, because Workman Comp won't pay for it, because I can't have those medicines. I still have 5 bills on my table that Workman Comp still has not paid since February of a concussion, sitting at my house. My bills haven't been paid. I have contacted Workman's Comp. They said they've contacted my doctors. I am being denied certain medical treatments due to the fact I can't have the meds. because it will hurt me. It will shut down my kidney. And now I'm paying out of my pocket for injuries a student caused me. I just want y'all to know this. And now my job, y'all almost was online. And I work every day. And I give 100% for every student there is in teacher. And I hope y'all understand, we work. I go to work. I went to work after freaking concussion. Because the doctor's like, Karen, stay home. I said, nope, I'm going back to work. I'm needed. I went back, even with a massive migraine. Please, guys, help us. Thank you.
David Ziegler. David Ziegler.
Thank you. I'm David Ziegler from Pearl River. I also represent the Slidell Ministers Association, and I want to thank you as an amazing school board for what you're doing in this parish. Mr. Jabby, I want to also thank you for allowing and supporting the Next Gen clubs that are in our schools. That is an excellent club, and we thank you for doing that. I'd just like to see us continue in that excellent mode. And that's why I'm up here to just ask that we would be able to continue in that route with our school system. It's an amazing school system. I used to live in North Carolina and in Virginia Beach, and it was really amazing. When I lived in Virginia Beach, I heard that this was one of the best school systems in all of America. And I thought, man, that's where I'm from. And I was up there living there, and I thought, man, what an amazing compliment to hear that this school system was one of the best in America. These books that have crept in somehow to the libraries, I'm asking you to take them out. I'm asking you to get them out of the libraries. We're working with the parish on the parish level as well. We've not asked them to be removed. We've asked that those be put in another section of the library. But this, yes, we're asking you to remove these from the school libraries. Young people learn information about sex, this is sad, and relationships from pornography, which is harmful to their selves and their relationships. And secondly, pornography use can become problematic and even addictive, which damages the brain. So I brought with me a paper tonight, and it's about a 3-part documentary called Brain Heart World. And it's a series by a nonprofit called Fight the New Drug, and it demonstrates how pornography can negatively impact individuals, relationships, and society. And we watched the film, and it is an amazing educational, non-legislative, non-religious film. And I'm asking if I could leave this with you to take a look at it, because it would be amazing to show this to the students throughout the schools. And it is an alternative to all what we're seeing. It also has a list of books that can help students understand what this is all about, their sexuality. So if I could leave this with you, could I do it, sir? Thank you. And thank you for your time.
Jonathan Copel. And next up is Pastor John, because I can't pronounce his last name.
I'm Jonathan Copel. For some reason, at Yafunk Middle School, there's a book called Lillian Duncan. That's, sixth, it's like little kids. It normalizes and promotes transgender ideology and gender dysphoria. It's about an 8th grader named Lily Jo McGauthor, who identifies as a girl, even though born in a boy's body. You can't be born in the wrong body, so we shouldn't have books that tell kids that that's a thing. You're not born in the wrong body. Little Oak Middle School has a book called Too Bright to See. It normalizes and promotes transgender ideology and gender dysphoria. Being girly has never really suited Bug, and as he tries to uncover the identity of a ghost, Bug starts to realize an even more important part of his own identity He's transgender. Transgenderism is a mental illness. You're either male or female. And little kids in middle school shouldn't be exposed to this or have access to it, really. I don't understand why they would have access to this. At Carolyn Park Middle School, you got a book called Can't Take That Away. It normalizes and promotes transgender ideology and gender dysphoria. Carrie Parker, a high school teen who feels themselves to be of non-binary gender and goes by the pronoun they. I used to be a Spanish teacher. Pronouns are very important in language, especially in the English language. You can't be multiple people at one time. That is multiple personality disorder. That is not normal. At Whispering Forest Elementary School, there's a book, Jack Not Jackie. I've been told that it's somewhere, it's hidden from kids. That's awesome, but it's, again, about transgender children being normalized, and just, it's a story about a transgender kid. Then at Glenn H. Brock, Lancaster, and Mayfield Elementary, you got the book Too Bright to See. That's the one where the kid starts to realize he thinks he's transgender. So this next little stuff is this book, Queer. And guys, I don't care if you're gay, like if you're an adult, like do whatever you want. This is America. We're talking about little kids, 12-year-olds, younger, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12 through high school. It goes to 18. These are minors. I don't understand why we have these pedophilic porno books that just magically appear in the library. Whoever allows these to be in the hands of children should be registered sex offenders. What type of adult would do that? We have this book called Queer, Graphic History, that has, I mean, it shows topless naked women in a threesome wearing strap-on dildos and inserting them into the anus of a male. So I don't understand why that would be at Fontainebleau High School. You can't, like, you have to be 18. You realize you have to prove your age to watch porn on the internet. But at the high school, you know, you can get this, which got all the naked people, you know, topless women, strap-on dildo, bent over guy in the butt. Like, why? Why is this? It's not good. Y'all gotta look into this. If you don't, you know, why is this the most gay generation? Why is 20% gay? Well, they're being groomed and they're being taught to be gay.
Pastor John. John Amacha Kawi? I don't know. Pastor John? Yeah, I knew I was going to butcher it.
It means I know God. My name is John Amanchukwu, and I'm not here to defend perverted librarians or the ALA who bows to the false triune idol of diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'm here to defend children, period. And if this ruffles some feathers, if it bothers some Karens or snowflakes, at the end of the day, I don't care. Cry me a river. I'm here to read this book entitled What Girls Are Made Of by Elena K. Arnold. I'll start at page 33. It says, I hop up and wrap my legs around his waist, feel already his satisfying hardness. We go like that up the stairs, all 16 of them, with me in Seth's arms, my tongue in his mouth. In my room, I've lit candles, which Seth doesn't mention. And when he throws me onto the bed, the one on the nightstand flickers out. He shrugs out of his sweater, pulls his t-shirt over his head, and tosses it aside, then kicks out of his shoes and yanks down his jeans and his underwear in one fierce moment. Then he's there naked, the thick horn of him wet-tipped and hard, and a rush of wetness floods the cotton lining of my thong. Take off your bra. I feel thrillingly like I'm in a movie. My bra falls into my lap and I push my chest forward, pretending that I think my pointed breasts are beautiful. Seth thrusts forward onto the bed and between my legs and against the thin lace barrier that separates us. Then Seth rises above me like a wave and smiles, and I smile back, and then he pushes into me hard and fast. And it hurts and it feels good, all mixed together. He puts one hand on my stomach to hold me still. He likes it best, he says, when I don't move a lot, when I let him be in charge. And I know, too, that he likes to feel himself inside of me, under his hand, the back and forth motion of it. Page 35. Soft now, his penis shrinks inside me and then slips out. When I get up to go to the bathroom, a runny path of semen like egg whites trails down my leg. I am horrified. There are other times when we don't use a condom, Seth will pull out and come on my stomach, or those 2 times on my back. And then he uses a t-shirt or a sock to wipe me off. It's not that I don't have orgasms, it's just that I don't have orgasms with Seth. This is pornography. This is not a man traveling the country trying to get Nimrods on school boards to see the fact that this is pornography. This is pornography, and it needs to be removed. And any person who thinks that this stuff doesn't need to be removed, they have a mental illness.
Giovanni. Mr. D. Giovanni. Please, let's have decorum. D. Giovanni. Giovanni? D. Giovanni? Not here. Oh, wait, here he comes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
It's the same stuff they've been.
Okay, I think that's a tough person to follow. I'd like to bring some common sense and maybe some dignity back to this meeting. And I'd like to read, this is one of the books that's on the list that is to be banned. And it's called Gender in the 21st Century. Once we understand that gender is distinct from sex, a whole world of possibilities opens up, along with the potential for confusion. Shifting attitudes about the roles of men and women have allowed younger generations to refuse to be pigeonholed into conventional gender norms. The viewpoints in this volume approach gender from a variety of perspectives, providing readers with food for thought about where gender comes from and how we can make sense of its importance and where it might be headed. This book is about educating. This book is also about children in our schools, children in our community, children maybe in your families that may have questions about gender, that may have questions about who they are. And if we don't allow them to be able to read or understand who they are, they will not become fully who they are. They will not become who they're meant to be, their potential, contributing people in our society. I think that we're all here about supporting education. This is about knowledge. And when we take away knowledge from our students, from if politicians and a few minority people are talking about removing books, then everyone is not represented. Everyone is not allowed to learn. And that is not education. That is not what we're all about. It's not supporting our children as God made them, as they are. And I just want to support the librarians and keep all the rights for all the children that are in this community intact.
Joanna, and I believe the last name is Myers? Meyer? Joanna? Is she here? Okay.
I'm not going to read from the books because they're too egregious. They're too egregious. And we've been in this fight for over a year and a half now. And I knew it was in the public school libraries, but this has taken it to another level, to have it and I'm sure it's probably in the kindergartens too with the other books. But these are the ones that they were given to us that we know are in the schools. Lily and Duncan, which Jonathan mentioned in Too Bright to See. And I've read both of those books from the first page to the last page. We always get accused of not reading them. But here's the thing. Children don't need to know about sex. They're too young. What child should be talking about sex to anybody, especially a teacher or a librarian? No, that is wrong, and I know that each and every one of you up here probably knows that as well. And I would like to know, they keep talking politics. When did protecting children become political? It's not political. If you saw a child run out into the street and you saw a car coming, what would you do? Would you just stand there? Even if it wasn't your child, you'd go run after that child. You'd grab that child, wouldn't you? You wouldn't just stand there. This is about protecting our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren and the children to come. And I'm not mad or angry at you at the school board unless you don't do something about it. These books have to go. And I'm sure, like I said, they're probably in the kindergarten area as well of the schools. I wouldn't doubt it for a minute. And you know, I was a volunteer mother and grandmother for 24 years in this school system. Never would I have thought or imagined that this could even be happening here. Never. And no child should be subject to this. And a child doesn't go at 2 years old, oh, I think I'm a girl, if they're a boy, or if they're a girl, oh, I think I'm a boy. No, that's a lie. And that's being taught to children as young as toddlers. We have books that we brought up that they are doing that. We're talking toddler sections in the public libraries. I know this isn't the public libraries, this is the school libraries, but it's coming, and it's coming quicker than we thought, and it's got to stop. And if any of y'all don't think this is a problem, you better think again, because we're not going away, and we're coming back, and we will continue to fight to protect the children, their innocence. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Fran Smith. My perspective on this is just so different in a lot of ways, but in ways it's a lot the same. As a young child, I was molested by my brother. He was my half-brother, but he was still my brother. So when I read this stuff from these books, it makes me vile and sick. I want to puke, I want to vomit. And to have some other child have to read this stuff, whether it's about trans, whether it's about homosexuality, whether it's about heterosexuality. Do you know what it can do to their minds? For God's sake, stop this. Take these books out. You just said it's about health and safety. That's what you said. Why do you think all these kids are having problems? Because you put this smut in their minds, and they go home, they go wherever they are. They may dream about it. God knows I dream about it after I have to read 30 of these books and write statements of concern about it. I have nightmares about it. Nightmares. I am 69 years old, and I am a fairly normal person after all that was done with me. All that. It's not right to give children these books to make them think about this stuff. They're too young. They're too young, for goodness sakes. Why are we letting this happen? There are people that are born intersexual. They are born with a penis and a vagina. Kids are not born transsexual. They are not. They are born boys and girls, okay? Some things can go wrong in their lives. That could have gone wrong with me, but it was my faith in God that helped me get a grip on things. And it was my love for my grandchildren that I did not turn out like that. So I ask you, I'm telling you, look at what you're letting these kids read. And then the graphics on them are just as bad, whether it's the content or the pictures. And you may not think they're like Playboy magazine, but it gets the word and it gets the idea across in their heads. You think I want to come up here and talk to you about my personal time and my personal life? You're wrong. It took me until I was 40 years old to even tell my husband. I'm sick of this, and you need to stop this. Thank you.
Wanda George. Mr. Leday.
Good evening again, board. I've got to admit, y'all kind of had a tough job tonight. My hat goes off to you. I'd also like to take my hat off to everybody in the audience that came and spoke, either for or against. I definitely believe in freedom of speech. I'm glad to see them here. I'm hoping that all these people that came up and spoke on these agenda items will come to the next meeting on November 2nd. Very important. Let's discuss it. Let's get it taken care of. On one other note, my wife, for the past 2 days, has been observing a bus, a fleet bus. I'm not going to give the number or the name, that has been overcrowded. It's been overcrowded to the point where the parents or the helpers are standing and the kids are sitting in the aisle. This is a special needs bus. This is serious. If it was my child, I would not be so calm talking. I guarantee you. Where is this allowed? I have no idea how this ever came about. I could understand it as a mistake one time, but this is the second day in a row. She's tried to call transportation, said their hours are X to X. Nobody's answering the phone. Nobody will contact her. When she finally does get contacted, she's shuffled around. Look, y'all, it's unacceptable. Just say, look, we have to investigate, or we have to see what's going on. Don't just push her off. Because when you get a mad mama bear up here, I'm gonna cut the chain on and let her loose on y'all. Because I ain't gonna hold her back. That's my wife, and I gotta tell you, I've seen her in a hospital emergency room before. When they stopped giving her her proper medication, like some of these people talked about tonight. And I tell you what, they had 3 doctors come ask me, would you mind coming to get control of your wife? And I said, ain't no way. Y'all made the problem, y'all solved the problem. That's the way I look at it. Again, my hat goes off to you, board. Hard job tonight. Thank you.
Mike Lindstedt.
Good morning, good evening, board. I'm a pastor here in Mandeville. I do live here in St. Tammany Parish. My name is Mike Lindstedt. I'm a pastor at the Field Church, and I'm also the executive director of a biblical counseling ministry that also serves this community. I have heard a lot of different justifications for the arguments held by these individuals here who are holding a different position as I do, which is their right in this country. I don't want to address every single argument, but I have heard people use the word God. Let the children become who God made them to be. And then I've also heard a conflicting statement from the same group that there is no God. Well, I come here to tell you what the God of the Scripture does say concerning this material. He says in 1 Corinthians chapter 6, which is me citing my source, do not be deceived. Neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor homosexuals, nor thieves, nor the covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor swindlers will inherit the kingdom of God. Such were some of you, but you were washed, but you were sanctified, and you were justified in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ and in the Spirit of God. That list is made up of things that I myself have violated many times. And yet I'm still willing to call them what they are. And they are wrong in the eyes of the God who created us, male and female. I was a drunkard. I was a thief. I was a fornicator. And I'm willing to say that that was just as wrong as being a homosexual, being an adulterer, being an effeminate, which in the Greek is referring to someone who is calling themselves not by what their natural sex is. So if I'm willing to say that I am in that same category of individuals, that these books that I could read to you are pretending that they are not something which the scripture says that they are, in fact, I don't see why we're having an issue as to why we have an issue as to calling these things wrong morally. The hope of Jesus Christ is all that I can offer, all that I can bring. I would ask you to remove these books or do your research as a man who's coming from a religion who's had his book banned many times. And I can tell you that if this is truth, it will endure. And if it is not truth, it will surely fail. Thank you.
Haley Renault?
Hello, my name is Haley Renault. I'm 17 years old and I have 2 siblings. My little brother is 6 and my little sister is 4. My parents have pulled both my brother and I out of the public school system for various different reasons, but I'm glad to say that my parents pulled my little siblings out because books like this that I could read, but I won't because they're embarrassing to talk about. If I, as a 17-year-old, am embarrassed to talk about the books that we have in our public school system, that's wrong. It's wrong to have books that other people scream about being profanic. It's wrong to have that in public school systems. We're not arguing to take books out of public libraries or off the internet or ban them completely from being bought or read. We're asking that they don't be accessible to minors. Did you know that there was a law passed that makes you have to identify yourself as 18 years old to be able to access porn on the internet in Louisiana? If you have to be 18 to access porn on the internet, why can you be 14 reading books about having sex and orgasms in this book? It's completely wrong and immoral. And I'm not even talking from a religious standpoint, but I am religious, but I'm talking from a ground level standpoint. Everyone in this room should agree that having these books be accessible to minors is a complete overlook on the public school system. If my brother were to go to public school and be 6 years old and come home talking about these things, my parents would be appalled. I would be appalled as someone who might have kids in the future who end up in the public school system because I myself and my husband are working. I would be appalled to hear them talk about this. There are excerpts from books that talk about how these girls love to suck on boobies and things like that, and that's completely wrong. People scream about parental consent, but when it comes to teaching parental consent and having other people dictate that, it's wrong. If parents are allowed to dictate what their children read by the public school library, we should also be allowed to dictate what they learn. And if we're teaching things like gay and trans ideology, which I'm not saying is wrong in this specific discussion, but if they're allowed to teach that in public schools, then there is no parental consent. Does that make sense? Thanks.
Kathleen?
Kathleen Canino. So I hear the parents that they don't agree with some books. So maybe there could be a policy where those parents can opt out of their children having access to those books. Therefore, the people who don't disagree with it can allow their children have access, and the ones that don't want their children to have access won't. But I do want to also let all the parents know that are here tonight that there is no policy that requires the district to tell parents if reports of abuse are made on their child, or if a police investigation is being done regarding their child. The school doesn't have to tell you, and neither do the police. And then you should also look up Act 392 of the 2023 regular session by Senator Peacock. It allows for teachers who have violent felonies to get their teaching license back. And things like first-degree murder, first, second, third-degree rape, aggravated kidnapping. Those teachers, after 5 years, can go to Bessie and appeal that their license was revoked and can get it back as long as they have a recommendation in writing and the Bessie board approves it. I don't know how that happened, but that was passed this year, and that was Senator Peacock. Thanks.
Ms. Barbara Sharp.
Barbara Sharp, bus driver, change the topic. We are now moving into the second quarter of the school year. If there's any improvement over last year, it is very minimal in transportation. There is still a critical shortage of hired full-time drivers and a substitute list with a significant number of available substitutes. No substitutes means there is still a large amount of routes that are being broken up daily and covered with multiple drivers assisting on coverage of even a single route. Sometimes as many as 6 or more drivers are being paid coverage pay to assist when one driver is out for any reason. A retirement or a resignation results in multiple operators doing coverage as drivers are shifted around and children are dispersed to various buses, causing possible overcrowding and overloading, and of course, lots of coverage pay. All of this can be verified by just looking at the amount of money being paid out monthly for coverage. The only solution to the shortage is more drivers. I acknowledge that there's been a considerable push to hire, but drivers are still retiring and resigning or being forced out. The coming months will have numerous retirements. Coverage pay will escalate with each month. Substitutes are not a long-term answer. Drivers are faced with difficult situations, 60 to 70 children with very little respect and sometimes little reinforcement for discipline from problems from schools. Even a seasoned sub is unprepared for the onslaught of abusive language and disrespectful students. Not an attractive environment for new employees. More drivers are needed. Figure out what is needed to get it done. Do it before we are like East Baton Rouge Parish.
James McNary. James McNary. Okay, since he's not here, announcements by the board president. The November committee as a whole meeting will be on Thursday, November 2nd at 6 p.m. The November board meeting will be on November 9th at 6 p.m. right here. Thank you. This meeting is adjourned.